Speaking of it, you should be proud to be Irish. A little documentary called The Irish Pub. Esther already told us the story of its genesis, how it came about. So we do have a clip for you. This clip, it features DeBarra's pub in Clonakilty.
Tradition is important now more than ever, and the musical tradition here is very important. It's important to the town. There's a huge musical legacy here. All the young people now that are coming up, and some of the music and the musicianship and the bands is just it's phenomenal. And you know, like West Cork it's become the Nashville of Ireland almost to an extent. Like, you know, I mean, Christy Moore, like, I suppose in the most famous quote is that he said there's the Sydney Opera House, there's Carnegie Hall, there's the Royal Albert Hall, and then there's the Barras. So that's as good a testimonial as I think as you'll get off anyone.
There you go. That's a little clip from the Irish Pub.
As anyone who's been to DeBarra's will know, every word of that was true. It's one of my favourite pubs in the country. Actually, a lot of my favourites feature here, which kind of won me over straight away. There's another pub in West Cork down in Castletownbere, McCarthy's, which Pete McCarthy wrote about in his book, The Late Pete McCarthy. And it's...
I hear a Munster bias here.
Slightly, yeah. Well, okay, I'll get back to fairness. The Palace in Dublin features as well, and Mulligan's and the Gravediggers, all the great pubs really. He had one criteria, Alex Fegan, when he was going to film this, and it was that the pubs he goes to were in the same family for 3 generations or more. So
right,
that was
that's a good one.
Yeah, you've got, inevitably, you know, you've got a movie here that's steeped in tradition, really, and full of personality and characters without ever going over into kind of self-congratulatory, paddy-whackery kind of vibe, you know, and which it could so easily have done. But I think it's just told with so much love, and it just comes out on the big screen. There are some very funny moments as well. Like there's the star of the show, he features on the posters. There's a publican by the name of Paul Gartland from County Louth, who comes out with lines like, you'd go into a foreign pub and they'd ignore you. You'd go into an Irish pub and they'd go up in your arse to find out who you are. Which is totally true, you know, but it's just... You can't script that kind of stuff. And it's, you know, I think he went, the director mentions, by the way, he's director, cinematographer, lighting technician, soundman, producer, like he has really...
He just went in with a camera and
done all of this on his own. And it's, you know, I did look to, when I was watching it, I looked to see who the director of photography was, because it's so pretty. It's like, almost like a documentary a few years ago called His and Hers, where every character in it is kind of framed, and it's almost like a series of pretty paintings, you know. And just to see that he's done this himself, and...
Well, that's the technology now. I mean, you can buy a tiny camera for $1,000, which is, you know, which can blow up to cinema quality very easily, and you wouldn't even know it.
Yeah. And also, I think just the lack of editing is almost to its strength as well, because there's stuff that other people cut out that he's left in. Like there's one publican, I can't remember which one it is, but he's talking about, you know, trying to explain a point, but his kids keep crawling over the bar. And he's like, get down out of that now, get out, you know, and it's just actually lovely. It's really, it's so much fun, and he's picked the right places, I think, and, you know, I hope it finds a wide audience. It's going on a reasonably small release this week, but I think it's going to be rolling out after that, and I do hope people get to see it. It's, you know, its strengths are its weaknesses, or its strengths are its weaknesses in a way, in that it only runs to 80 minutes. I would like maybe a bit more depth to it, but there is an awful lot of enjoyment to be had here, an awful lot of personality and some great characters. And also another favourite was Lisa Fennan from Butterfields in County Kildare, who's behind the bar, a young woman, and her favourite customer is an elderly man by the name of Dano. And just the dynamic between the two of them in the scenes they have, it's just absolutely beautiful.
It sounds absolutely lovely.
Yeah.
I've only got a few seconds left, but before I go to the break, but somebody wants to know, because this sounds like an important one, can you ask the movie Mermaid where we should go to see tomorrow on a second day?